Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video, and in today's video we are going to be going over the Battle Hardened Richmond results, kind of talk about the meta, what happened, what transpired, give Sant and his team over here a little bit of gas, and just talk about it and get your thoughts in the comments. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to join the Discord down below. We have over 400 members now, going really strong, and if you want to support the channel a different way, maybe check out the Patreon to see my videos a little bit earlier. But yeah, getting right into it. This is a tweet straight from Sant. Please go follow his Twitter down below and all his stuff. Before we get into the video, just want to give a shout out to him. We ended up sponsoring the stream, or what was going to be the stream, for the Battle Hardened Richmond. And without going too deep into it, definitely go to his channel. He kind of explains the whole thing that happened. But basically, he couldn't connect to the venue. He couldn't connect to his hotspot through the venue because it was so just kind of a black hole. He ended up trying to transfer his phone plan and do all this crazy hoops just to try to give everybody a stream, and sadly couldn't do it. He even tried to get on the venue Wi-Fi, just wasn't allowed. But regardless, kudos to him. He still recorded all the games. He's putting them out on his YouTube. So definitely go to his content, check out his stuff, check out the games that happened, because he put in a lot of work for this. And it sucks to see how it happened, but he's trying to make the most of it. So definitely go check that out. So at the Battle Hardened Richmond, we had 92 players. The top were 15 Dromai, 14 Lexi, and 11 Oldheim. Those were the top three, followed by 8 Azalea and Bravo Uziri, and then kind of trickled from there. The key things about this is, one, I think Dromai was an obvious. I think if I had to guess on what was going to be the most represented, I honestly thought it was going to be Dromai. I thought that Azalea could have also been, just because of hype. But I think a lot of people came into this meta, or this event, trying to counter the meta more so than play it, which is why you saw a lot of Dromai. Dromai is definitely, I think, favored into Azalea, but Alexi's not an easy matchup for Dromai, because Alexi can clear dragons a lot easier. And even Azalea, if she just goes face, the matchup is more closer than you think, especially for a skilled Azalea player who's drawing decently well. So regardless, so 14 Lexi, did not expect that. I did not expect more Lexi than Azalea. I definitely think, and I've said this in a previous video, I think that Lexi is better than Azalea into the meta as a whole. I think Azalea has more power and a higher ceiling, but I think Lexi is more to explore, and honestly is just better into a wider version of the meta. Does a little bit better in the Oldheim, in my opinion. A little bit better in the Dromai. Is a little bit more flexible, but Azalea's just got that raw power right now. So that was kind of a surprise to see Lexi be the second most represented deck. Azalea being up there in Oldheim makes sense. The other note here that I want to show is there was only 2 Icelander. Only 2. I definitely thought Icelander would go down. I've been saying this since Outsiders came out. There is so much Arsenal hate and so much tempo in this game right now, and so many on-hit effects, that I don't think Icelander can keep up. If your name is not Michael Hamilton, I would not play Icelander. I think in the hands of Michael Hamilton, it's still very competitive, and maybe 1 or 2 other players, Majin, something like that. But overall, I think right now Icelander is not a strong pick, and it showed. I definitely didn't think we'd only see 2. I did not think there would be the same amount of Viserai as there were Icelander, or the same amount of Kano as there were Icelander. I thought you'd see 6 or 7 Icelander, and she'd be somewhere where Dash is right now. But it just kind of shows you where it is right now. Overall, the fact that there were, and then the other one is Fi. It shows you how much Fi has fallen out of grace. Only 1 Fi in the meta. There was the same amount of Bolton and Arachnes as there was Fi. I think if you had told somebody 3 to 4 months ago that at a Battle Hardened there'd be as many Boltons as there were Fi, they probably would have told you you're crazy. So that's really interesting. But overall, the meta is pretty healthy. Oldheim kind of sucks still, just my personal opinion. But regardless of my non-objective opinion, pretty healthy meta. A wide array of heroes. We had, 6 heroes with over, 8 in representation out of 92 players. So, 10% of 92, you're looking at about 9, right? 9 point whatever. So nearly 6 decks were made up to 10+% of the meta, or 9+% of the meta, which is really cool to see. So really good for that. As far as the top 8, and we'll kind of bring that up here for you guys. Top 8 was, as you can see here, really, I messed up the wrong one. I am so dumb. But yeah, the top 8 was overall pretty diverse. There we go. Pretty diverse here. Lexi being number 1, Matthew McKinnis. He's a local here to Dallas. So I see him at a lot of events, or he lives close to here because I see him at a lot of events. Ended up taking a Lexi list. I think it was mainly a Fuseless list, if I remember correctly. And then we had 2 Oldheims in the top 8, including 2 in top 4, or placing top 4 out of Swiss. Both of them were on really, really heavy fatigue lists. You had 1 Dromai, 1 Dash, 1 Bravo, 1 Uziri, 1 Azalea. So, a total of what? 1, 2, 3, 7 heroes out in the top 8. Super, super healthy, super nice. Really great to see Brody Spurlock, who, ended up taking the last event with Azalea, getting top 8 in this one, ended up going decently far, and we'll kind of show that. But yeah, really diverse meta. Can't really complain too much about it. There's decks that counter each other. There's, it's a really kind of, there's a lot of different heroes you can play. Seeing a Bravo in top 8 is really nice. I do think Bravo has a pretty good play right now if you can get the right matchups. Seeing another Uziri in top 8 just shows that it wasn't a fluke by Sam. Shows that the hero still has legs even when people know it's coming. Because right now, Assassin in general typically does best when people don't prepare for it, similar to like Kano. So it's really nice to see it get top 8 even when people are kind of teching for it and preparing for it. And then kind of going, and these graphics were made by Mansan's team, by the way. So definitely give him a shout out. This was a top 8. So Matthew ended up playing Brody. Brody ended up taking it, Azalea over Lexi. Like I said, Lexi is better into the meta, but Azalea is better than Lexi in the head-to-head. I'll stand by that. Azalea is favored pretty well in the head-to-head, in my opinion. Trenton beat Dash. I don't know if the Dash had a sideboard plan or had a plan for Oldheim to kind of go more fatigue. I'm assuming so, but if it was a boost Dash, then it kind of makes sense why they lost, because if it was a Tree Frog Dash, I don't think they lose Oldheim. So it probably was more of a boost list. I'd have to take a look at it. Dromai beat Bravo. I'm sure that was a pretty skill-intensive matchup, even though it seems like Dromai is probably a favorite. Bravo has a lot of poppers, so definitely really skill-intensive matchup there. And then the other Fatigue Oldheim winning. And then top 4, Trenton beat out Brody, and the other Oldheim won, and then it was Oldheim mirror in the final. So Oldheim getting one step closer to LL. We'll have to see how that kind of goes. There wasn't a whole lot of pro points or living legend points that kind of went to this. So, but congrats to Pat Esch for the first place, and Trenton for getting second. Even though it was an Oldheim versus Oldheim final, it was a really diverse top 8. Really cool to see. And as time goes forward, it's going to be really interesting to kind of see where the meta goes from here. My personal thoughts, I think it's going to remain the same. Going into the Pro Tour, I think you're going to see a lot of Oldheim. I think Oldheim still has probably one of the best matchup spreads of any of the top decks. It really doesn't have a bad matchup, right? It really doesn't. It doesn't really have a bad matchup. It's good matchups, got a little bit harder, right? And Azalea is a little bit harder. Lexi's a little bit harder. But overall, Trenton ended up beating a Dash, an Azalea, and a Mirror. Pat ended up beating a Uziri and a Dromai to get in the finals. So they all both beat completely different decks to get into the finals. So I think you are going to see a lot of Oldheim in the Pro Tour. Oldheim's more of a skill-intensive deck that you see a lot of top players run. So I will think you'll see a lot of that. Dromai will be really interesting. I don't think you'll see a ton of Uziri at the Pro Tour. I really don't. I think it's more of a hero that's not ran at that level, but I could be wrong. I think you'll see a good amount of Azalea. I think you'll see a lot of Lexi and a lot of Oldheim. I think that trend's going to continue. We'll kind of talk about it as time goes on and see how kind of this changes. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on the meta. Be really interested to see. Again, thank you so much to the Mansant and his team for covering this event the best they could. Definitely go check out his stuff down below. Please go to his channel, follow his stuff, follow the videos he's putting out. He's putting out all the recordings of all of the rounds. We sponsored round 1, which was really cool. So thank you to the community for making that possible. Other the sponsors like Fab Unsealed, Fab Counter, you can see them all on the bottom right. Metal Fab Tokens, Fab Rec, really, really fresh and buds, really, really good people. Definitely give their channels a follow as well when you find them on YouTube. But yeah, if you like the type of content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to give them my thoughts on Skirmish season as well as some How to Ninja guides, kind of talking about everything. And yeah, really just go from there. But hopefully y'all have a good rest of your week. Y'all stay safe, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.